What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to MG Meaningful Garage. All right, so what are we doing today? So I got out of work a little late, came home, kids were bouncing off the walls, giving Mama Bear a problem. So I tried to get to the suspension earlier and doing the brake job, but unfortunately the kids were off the chain today. So I had to go inside and help put those kids down. And you know how it is when you're a dad, mom, parent of any kid, or you're taking care of kids. They can just, you know, they're way out there. So anyway, we're gonna mount the suspension and the brakes. So I have the brake kit, I have the rotors, I have the brake pads, and I have all the clips and the fluid, and I have all 4 coilovers that I want to put on. So today we want to try our best to get most of this done, because today is Wednesday and I want to get to the track. I really want to get onto the track. Every week something happens and it pushes this back, so I want to get going with this. So that's why I had no excuse today. The kids were acting up. I helped the Mama Bear out with the kids so they could put them down, and it's a little late. It's going on midnight, but I got some help. So I really normally don't drink Red Bull, but I need to get this thing going, so I need some a little help here. So I don't know if you can see it too much, but this is my H2 Hummer. It's a 2004. Right now it's sitting on some 20 by, I believe, 10.5 on some mud grapplers. Yeah, it dries like crap, but I love it. The reason why I say dries like crap, because everybody knows when you have mud tires on the road, the thing is just loud as hell and it's wild. So, but I just love the stand. So, see, guys, whenever I hear something in the woods, it just gives me chills, and I'll show you a little clip why. Oh, we have a couple bears around here. Sometimes they just come out of nowhere, and when you hear some noises going on, you know, you get a little fidgety. All right, so I'm just gonna cut this short because I'm hearing some crazy shit going on. Yep, it sounds pretty loud. So I'm gonna close up the garage. Before I close up the garage, just look at that color, man. Damn, made the right choice. See that candy? Car looks bananas in the light. Love it, I love it, I love it. So before I jack it up, I'm just gonna break some of these loose really quick. I have to remove these 2 bolts here, these 2 bolts, and there's a bolt in the back here that's holding on the brake bracket. I believe that's a 12. Once we get this off, we'll be able to bring this back, pull it back, and this strut will be loose, and then we hit the 3 bolts on the top, and it should come out. Let's just see. So this was a 17 millimeter, and this nut that I had on the other side was an 18 millimeter. So you want to put a wrench to hold the nut on the other side. At the bottom one I'm using an extension since the brake line's in the way. So the brake line's in the way, so I couldn't put the wrench right in here, so I'm using an extension. This is a 17 and the nut in the back is the 18. This is the lower one, so before I remove this completely, I'm just gonna make sure I get that bolt in the back off so the brake line is not tugged on. Just move this to the side over here. So once we get the bottom ones out, all there is to it just to take out this strut. We have these 3 14 millimeter bolts. So I'm gonna work on getting these out. Did leave it connected here a little bit, but this should drop out once I wiggle this back and forth a little bit. So in all, this probably took about 10 minutes if I wasn't going back and forth with the wrenches and everything. Just have to make sure when you're dropping the strut, you're not going to cut through your axle boot. So we're going to turn it a little bit here. So front strut is out. Now I want to do a little comparison here, just a comparison of how big that spring and shock tower is compared to the new BC coilovers. I'm just curious to see if this stock strut is a little bit heavier or lighter than this coilover. So let's see how much this comes in at in the weight. So this weighs in, the stock front strut comes in at 19.6 pounds. So this is the BC coilover. Let's just see how much this weighs. And this weighs in at 13.6. So we are a little bit less with this new coilover. We're saving 6 pounds. So 6 pounds on each corner. What I'm gonna do, we're gonna bolt this up. We're gonna bolt the front one up. They said the recommendation is to do one side at a time. So I'm gonna put the passenger front strut on and then I'm gonna go to the rear. These already came pretty much even. I don't have to mess with anything. I don't know how high, I don't know how low this is, but they're equally set. The only thing I would have to do if I do want to lower or raise the car, loosen up this nut and turn it counterclockwise or clockwise or raise or lower the car. Not gonna mess with this because from factory, this spring is preloaded. We're gonna put the strut back in and go from there. So all you have to do is just line these holes back up. So basically you're doing everything in reverse. You tighten up the bolt to the nut, the two bottom and top, and then after that we're going to connect the back bracket for the brake line, and then we'll tighten these up and we'll be all good to go. Everything's mounted up. I already snugged down the tops. I click not the dampener, how soft, and you can see if my camera will focus a little bit. So you can twist it all the way to the right, and that would be hard for the stiffness, or you could put it soft. I clicked it all the way hard for right now, and then I'll tune it and test and tune it on the street and see how it feels with the launching and high RPMs and high speed. So we'll go from here. We're going to move on to the rear. Alright, same thing with the rear. They have a bracket for the brake line. I believe it's going to be about a 12mm too. And then we have to loosen up the bolt. Let's get up there. We're going to have to loosen up the bolt that's on the bottom of the strut here. I believe this is 17, I'm not sure yet. So we're going to loosen up the bracket, and we're going to loosen up this bolt, and then there's going to be 2 on the top. Now the other bolts for the top of the strut should be back here. In the back here, so there's 2 of these. So after taking this little cover off, you're gonna remove this little boot, little ball joint covering boot. All right, so this is a 14mm. I'm just gonna loosen these up here. And we're gonna actually have to tap this off. So I'm getting myself a hammer over here. Tap this off, or pry it off. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't bang that way. I'm just gonna, let me get a pry bar. Take some of the load off it. That might help. This is really on there. Use it, try the air chisel, see if this is guys, so I finally got it off. Finally got the strut off. This is some BS, man. For you guys out there that change coilovers on the 1Gs in their original struts, you guys know exactly the pain I just went through. It was like 45 minutes trying to get this thing off. They said just loosen up these bolts, loosen up the bolt in the bottom, pull and pry off, it'll slide right off. My ass. I had to torch. I basically ended up torching to melt everything out so it can actually slide off the rubber. So that's what I did. I took a little break in between and I started reading online, and apparently everybody has a problem with this on the 1G. So for you guys watching this video that's going to be doing the 1G struts and you have the stock suspension on, just be prepared to do the front end and breeze right through those and come to the back and have your ass kicked. So I'm gonna turn it in for tonight because I'm exhausted. The Red Bull only held me up for so long, and now I'm starting to feel it a little bit, and I still gotta go to work tomorrow morning and pick up tomorrow with grinding this bushing off. I'm gonna drop the strut tonight, but I'm gonna grind this bushing off tomorrow, figure out what I'm gonna do with that. Still need to get off this post from the strut bushing. I have to somehow try to heat this up. I don't want to cut it right now. I want to see if I can heat this up with the little heat gun, not the torch, the heat gun this time, and see if I can bang it off that way. If that doesn't work, I'll go to the cutter. This doesn't seem to be working, so I'm gonna have to get the cutter in here. So after about 15 minutes of grinding, I figured a way to see if I could break this loose. Cut a few holes if you have a chisel. Slice a little groove in there where you can actually fit your chisel in here. And get yourself a mini sledgehammer. I have a mini sledgehammer. And just try to pry it off that way. I saw it starting to turn a little bit. You see how that's coming off? I'm gonna sand this up, clean this up with some sandpaper, and put some anti-seize so that doesn't happen ever again. But yeah, we finally got it off. 2 days worth of beating. So if you have stock suspension, good luck. Now I'm not going to tighten it all the way up, just going to leave a little slack on it so I can jack this up, put it into place. I'm going to tighten these down. I'm setting everything to hard. Want everything stiff right now so I can get everything to settle, and then I'll start softening up the rear. Tighten the bottom one and then we'll lower this side down. So I'm going to put on my spacers, the spacers I normally use when I run my slicks. I just want to see how everything would feel with the suspension and the spacers being on, the width of the tires and everything. Just want to see how everything feels to try to load the suspension and get everything right and do some street pulls. Make sure I can get some shakedowns and then make sure everything's okay. The reason why I didn't put on the brakes right now, I have enough meat on these brakes, crossing my fingers that they will work. I want to get this car at the track by Friday. So I want to get this all mounted, all the suspension done with the rims mounted. So tomorrow I can do some street runs and do a couple shakedowns to make sure everything's tightened down. And the goal is to be at the track Friday. Get some runs Friday or Saturday. So either or, I'm going to run it this weekend. I might run it with the street tires. That's why I'm mounting the spacers, so I can get the right fitment and make sure the suspension is right and right, nothing's rubbing or anything, because I may take a hit with the street tires just to, you know, get a feel for the car and then mount the slicks on another day. So we'll see. All right, now that I have all 4 coilovers on, I'm just gonna go take a little cruise to make sure everything's running right and that everything's all bolted down right. And maybe I find somebody on the road that'll give me a little test run. So let's go hunting. There is a Charger behind me, a Challenger, I mean. So hopefully he wants to have some fun because I'm ready. Gave it a head nod and kept on moving. They know what these cars are about. When you see a DSM, a 1G like this, growling, ain't too many people want to mess with them, man. Been driving around for about 20 minutes. Nobody wants to play with me. Nobody wants to give me the time of day. I guess they know what these cars are about, but I was hoping I can just get a run-in with somebody and catch it on camera, but unfortunately, no. So the suspension feels really good. Everything feels really tight. The only thing I am going to do, I'm just going to do a couple clicks on the rear struts, soften them up a little bit for the launch, and then next thing is taking it to the track. So we're going to end the video here. Thank you for watching another episode of MG Meaningful Garage. Car feels really good with the suspension. It's nice and tight. We're going to mount these bad boys. I already got the E85 filled up in the tank here, so we're all ready to good to go with the gas. We got the tires, so we're going to mount the tires on. In the next video, we should be at the track. So thanks again for watching MG, and always love and peace.